Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry I haven't been around lately. Changed my shift at work. Different schedule. It's hard to get together with Justin and shoot. But hey, real quick, a couple questions for you. First is, how many of you have read what Ariel put out? That's some pretty interesting stuff where he's talking about the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier A2. Pretty fascinating. If you haven't read it, I'm going to read it for you real quick. This is Ariel. Ariel puts out some pretty interesting things, and I think this right here just is worth talking about. But basically, it's the official banking announcements, Basel III capital requirements, Tier 2 revaluation reserves / IQD, Article 8 IQD international compliance. Global banks gear up for Tier 2 capital note issuance under Basel III, and these are the guidelines. So here we go. As he says, making it plain, purpose of Tier 2 reserves. Interesting. If you haven't read it, here we go. Tier 1 capital. This is the thick, strong inner wall made of things like shareholder equity and retained earnings. It's the first line of defense against financial trouble for the banks. Tier 2 capital. This is the second wall. Not as strong as the first, but still valuable. It's made of things like undisclosed reserves, subordinated debt, and hybrid capital instruments. Here's where it gets interesting. Tier 2A, revaluation asset, which is the IQD and other foreign currencies is considered. Banks are holding meetings to help set up this safety net against the coming currency revaluation that will phase out the fiat currency, USD, by converting your IQD into this US Treasury bills that the bank will use as reserves. So you will basically create a financial blanket against the coming black swan event when banks will have to weather this storm. So if you happen to have 10 to 50 million IQD, you just bolstered the reserves of the bank that will do your exchange. Fascinating. The purpose of Tier 2 reserves, like other elements of Tier 2 capital, is to provide an additional buffer to protect the bank from losses. It acts as a cushion before the bank has to tap its core capital and potentially affect its ability to lend money. Here's a breakdown of some key benefits of Tier 2 reserves. Absorb losses. If the bank faces bad loans or other financial difficulties, Tier 2 reserves can be used to absorb those losses before they reach the bank's core capital. This helps to protect depositors and other creditors. Maintain financial stability. By having a strong Tier 2 capital base, banks can weather financial storms easily and maintain their ability to lend money and support the economy. He goes on to say, do you understand your role now? You will be the lifeline of banks going forward. They know this, which is why they are preparing to serve your best financial interests once the IQD is trading globally on the Forex market. That's fascinating. I mean, that's extremely fascinating. That's a lot better than hearing, other things like things that we hear every day that never come to fruition. So this is very exciting. We want to thank Ariel for that. Good job, Ariel. Banking announcements. Real quick, while I got you though, I've had some questions. It's been weighing on me since this happened. But how many of you guys remember when? I know you're going to laugh. You're going to be like, what is this guy talking about? And some of you are going to be like, dude, you're stupid. It's never going to happen. But I hold Zim, and I know others do. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, that was some scam that Ray ran and Tony and Mark Z concocted a long time ago. Well, I still hold it. Maybe I'm a dummy. But tell me this, guys. Tell me if this makes sense. Why would the Bank of Zimbabwe buy back the Zims 100 trillion notes for 40 cents? Why would they? What was the point of buying those bills back? Was it because they grew a heart and decided, let's do something for the people? The poor people, they're struggling, they're suffering. Let's buy back. Sorry if the phone's shaking. I'm holding it. I don't have a stick. Let's buy back those notes. Let's give them 40 cents. Does it make sense? When have you ever heard of a bank feel bad for us, or anybody for that matter? If it's not for them, then what's it for? So it just doesn't make sense to me that they bought these things back. You know what I mean? I don't get it. Why would the Bank of Zimbabwe, 40 cents doesn't seem like a lot, but why would they buy it at all? Why wouldn't they say, screw it, who gives a damn? You know, if they wanted another currency, why don't they just reprint their currency? Or not reprint, come out with a new currency and go forward. They say those 2008 AR whatever bills are no good, and they never will be. Well, then why did you buy them back? What was the point of buying them back? Somebody can explain it to me. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. Someone could please explain it to me. That'd be great. Because to me, it seems, you know, there's conversation about them backing their currency with gold. Well, maybe, and this is just my thoughts, nobody else's, what if instead of creating a whole new currency that investors and everybody in the world would be like, I don't know if I trust Zimbabwe. Their last currency went to shit, and they just created a new one. But what if they combated the inflation and they came back with their old currency and then built it back up? Now that could show confidence in the currency and that the government's doing the right thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of corruption, but there's corruption everywhere, as we've all discussed. I called Pimpy about it the other night. I know all y'all love Pimpy. And it's funny because when I called Pimpy was actually out shopping for a belt for his bristle shampoo carpet cleaner. You talk about funny. Listening to Pimpy walk around Lowe's asking people where he could find the belt for his bristle shampoo was hysterical. It was just funny to listen to him. And, you know, people in Lowe's were sending him to aisle 43 and aisle 49, and he's like, I already been there, and it's not there. You know, listening to Pimpy give them somewhat of a hard time was kind of comical, and just hearing the whole thing, you know, and then him getting back in the car and talking to someone in the car about where they're. Anyway, it was just funny. Anyway, I talked to Pimpy, and Pimpy's like, yeah, you know, I don't know about Zimbabwe, man. Their politicians still go around killing each other, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of problematic. But I still hold Zim. I feel like if they bought it back for 40 cents, a measly 40 cents, maybe there's something to it. And now they're talking about gold back in their currency, and I could be way off the mark. Maybe they came out with a new currency. Guys, I'm on a whole nother shift. This phone is getting heavy after a few minutes here. But anyway, I don't know. So maybe let me know if I'm crazy. I also had another question. I hold a lot of dong. That's what I hold the most of is dong. And got a lot of hopes and dreams for dong. Have for years. But then you listen to people who are in the know say, man, the hardest problem we have with dong is the multi-billion-dollar corporations that pay the politicians to artificially keep their currency low. You see, a lot of these bigwigs in the government in Vietnam, they get paid by these billion-dollar corporations to make sure that the cost of doing business is cheap, and therefore, i.e. keeping the currency low. And I just, you know, now, Pimpy did tell me, and others have told me, well, Vietnam is trying to stamp out corruption. And I feel like as they keep going, when they find more of these politicians that are taking handouts from corporations to artificially keep their currency low and manipulating it, maybe somebody will be like, I'm not taking that money. It's still good for the country. You know what I mean? Let's help the people. Pipe dreams, right? What politician do you know wants to help the people? Except for the one I'm going to be voting for in November. I feel like he wants to help the people. But anyway, you know, I have a lot of hopes and dreams for Vietnam, as I do for Iraq and Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? And the rupiah. But those are some of the questions that I have. And I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Vietnam will get to a point where the politicians will revalue the currency? Because Vietnam doesn't need to wait for anything, guys. They're on track. 1975, the Vietnamese dong was $1.50 to the dollar. Or whatever, 150 to 1. That's awesome. Well, you find out that at that time they had a closed economy. And when they went public with their economy, that's when the dong started to slip. But they didn't have the infrastructure, the manufacturing, and all the distribution and the exporting going on that they do currently. So now they could support that. $1.50 then and 75, closed economy. Okay, it was a great economy, but then it slipped. But think about what they look like today. The atmosphere over there today financially is sound. They don't have sanctions. They don't have all these things. Vietnam could revalue today and come out at $1.50, I'm certain, and rock it out. And how awesome would that be? You know what I mean? Zim. What do you guys think about the Zim? Why would they spend 40 cents on 100 trillion? Okay, don't seem like much. But if the 100 trillion is useless and it's not worth shit, why give them 40 cents for it? Why would they buy back all those old Zim dollars if they're just useless? Why not create a new currency and back it with whatever you want and then do it? My thoughts is because who's going to trust it if you just come out with a new one and say, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Yeah, this is what we got. Because you could just screw it up again. But what if you rebuilt the Zim from where it is and brought it back to its glory and backed it by gold? Maybe that's why you bought it back for 40 cents to get it off the street as much as possible. You got the rest of these people out here just burning it because they think it's useless. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I would like to know what you think. And I'd also like to know what you guys think about what Ariel said. I think what Ariel said is exciting, you know, and I've been wanting to come out and do a video, but I don't want to just come out and I don't know, down other people's stuff. I mean, it's still the same crap out there, guys. Every weekend we hear that it looks good. We're in a window. We're in all this. Now, what Ariel had to say, that sounds good. That sounds great. You know what I mean? It's better than my bond contacts, and it's better than, you know, somebody calling me from in front of an ATM. I got a guy that tells me stuff, you know what I mean? And he's got one of his very best friends, as we have talked about, is in Herbal. And when he talks to the people around Herbal, you know, the people that live there, from there, they're like, what are you talking about? They don't hear the same things that we hear. They're not they're not seeing that the Iraqi dinar is going to revalue tomorrow. They don't see those things. It's not what they're seeing. You know what I mean? But now what Ariel had to say, that's a whole nother approach to it. That's an entirely different approach to the whole situation. So please tell me what you think. I want to thank Ariel for putting that out there. I know it came out yesterday morning. I haven't had a chance to see it. Matter of fact, tonight, I've been at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I was watching the NASCAR race. Exciting. Way to go, Daniel Suarez. But, guys, please comment at the bottom. Let me know what you think. I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you. I'm on an entirely different shift now, guys. I go to work at 2 in the afternoon, and I don't get home till 3, 4 in the morning. It's tough. But I'm going to start shooting videos from work. Yeah, I'm going to start shooting videos from the warehouse. You know, please excuse the background. It won't be as pretty as this beautiful painting I have on the wall. Anyway, have a wonderful night. I do appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good night.